I have to tell Mitch that I named him Michelo. And then when I want to tell him that I met somebody named Josh Ricken, maybe his last name? Josh, that's the first name. He said he plays the cello. And if you spell Michello out, that's like the word cello is in there, Chello or Tchello. Cello. Of course, how you spell the word cello is Cello. What I would like to say about Josh is I have this right here. And that's because I don't really know him. I don't know him. He's a small boy I don't know. I met him at the kitchen table of a house. He was drawing with pencils and paper. And I just spoke with him for a few minutes in the year 1993 or 1994, somewhere in there. Uh, and I've met a lot of people in my life. I'm very old now, but I remember that one because I got locked out of the house by somebody else. And that was just not due for him to be in there in reverse. That's why I have this. Joshua's dual swears. So now that I'm older now, what do I have to say about myself? I would like to say that I love myself and the money. I love myself deceased. I tell myself that I love myself. But it came up earlier tonight that something went missing out of heaven, and we don't know where it went. And that's because heaven did a sexual abuse on myself. And I didn't accuse heaven. I find heaven sexually abused myself. And that's heaven being in heaven committing a sexual abuse against myself. And that's me being in the God form right here. And I'm the upper order. I'm a higher order than heaven doing that to myself. And I find that heaven did sexually abuse myself, and I left heaven. I left the money that heaven was feeding because it was sexual abuse money. It was not proceeds from sexual abuse, but it was polluted money. Um, oh, I have chest pain just talking about it. Um, and my mind is, after that, my mind was polluted anyway. I don't know why. Because I think if I have left the motive for somebody to commit a sexual abuse on myself, it's very well established that I was not in it with you. That means you had a motive to confiscate money, and I leave the money was hot and in dispute, and I expect that heaven will feed me something that is meant for me someplace else. But I have to say on behalf of heaven that I've seen too much money go missing right here on this God form on my person, if you will. Too much money has gone missing where heaven doesn't really owe it from heaven anymore. It's true that I find you alone in the wrong and you owe the money is worse than if you were just in prison. Well, if you were in prison because you didn't owe anybody any money, then that's established. I wouldn't be saying that to you, that I find you alone in the wrong and you owe money on those points. And you also don't want to be in prison, but you have some other things you don't want. You don't want to be homeless. You don't want to be homeless where? Because there's human trafficking. So you don't want to be homeless outside your house. You don't want to be homeless in traffic. You don't want to be homeless in high speed traffic off the side of a highway. You don't want to be homeless in an airplane. That means the airplane can leave you anywhere it lands, and you don't want to be homeless there. You don't want to be internationally homeless, and you don't want to be in prison. And you've given me so many problems. You might think that this sounds a little bit extreme, and I think it is extreme. I am the father right here, and I just don't afford that you are that problem. You're not going anywhere with me with those problems that you made, that you think you know how to be yourselves, very well behaved on money, and you're going to die in your house like a soul. I'm a soul is going to die in my housing, but that's because I have a life that way. You don't have a life that way. And because you are yourself, you are to know exactly how to death yourself. You know how to be yourself that way because you're pursuing a death for yourself. And that is what makes you an individual and interesting, and you have a communion with God that way. You're not really supposed to be in the world to socialize with people and get along and get by and get in. Get out, you might have to get out because there are other people besides yourself, but you're not supposed to really get over somebody who's against yourself.